what actually is included in a business sale? Like, what am I expected to be selling as the business owner? I know that sounds like a silly question, but what am I expecting to be actually selling with, when I'm selling my business?
So this is really simple, and I like to keep it this way. Everything that goes into the contract, right? And the reason I say that is if it's not in the contract, it's not up for sale. If it's in the contract, then you're selling it. So do read the contracts is what I would tell my sellers. But typically, what you're selling is most everything, right? So you're from the name to your assets to the digital assets, to the equipment to the if you have a rented space, then the furniture that is in your office typically will go, unless you pull that out of the contract, right? Excluding office furniture. If that language is not in there, then everything that this is how anything that is required to do the daily business, right? So whether that is a truck, if you're owning an HVAC company, whether that is inventory and back inventory of whatever you might need. So it's going to be your inventory, your office furniture, the printers, just the most basic random things like that, but also the name, your digital presence, all of that is coming with it. So you are selling mostly everything. If there's real estate involved, you have a little bit kind of two options. Either the real estate goes with the business
Mhm.
um, for a separate price, right? You're going to have a business purchase price and a real estate purchase price, but it's going to happen under one transaction. Or you may choose to keep that real estate and lease it to the new owner, right? And you would negotiate that during due diligence. Um, so those are kind of the big, most everything, right? So assume if you're selling your business, anything that you use or deal with to kind of make the cash flow that you've represented, it goes with the business, right? So that's a good way to look at it. If I need this to make this money, it's probably going with the business.
Yeah. And to your point, it's so important that the seller thoroughly reads the contract because there are, like you said, most everything is generally what you're selling, right? And so, as we build the contract out, we're going to specifically, say most everything. Whereas if there are specific things that you are not wanting to sell, for example, you have an awesome Pac-Man arcade game in your office that you want to hang on to, that's got to be disclosed, right? That's not going with the business, right? So that what all is in the contract is so important. And as a seller, like you kind of have to assume that everything is going unless you say otherwise.
Right, exactly. In 95% of the contracts, you're going to list an equipment list, right? That's going to outline what goes in, what fixtures and furniture goes. So it'll be very clear. You'll be able to see it. But yes,
Hmm.
you should assume that most it's going unless you don't say it, right? And we can think about this kind of on the residential side that everyone's familiar with. You go and buy a house, or you go to sell a house, and you pay to put nice curtains up, right? Those curtains are going with the sale unless you say they're not, right? Your
Hmm.
washer and dryer is going with it unless you put that addendum that says no washer and dryer, right? Same thing with a business. It's going unless you say it's not, right? So that's a safe assumption. If it's tied to cash flow, it needs to go. It needs to come with the business.
If it's tied to cash flow, it's got to go.